So I'm Amanda Pullinger and I'm the CEO of a global association for women in finance called 100 Women in Finance. We're actually over 17,000 members globally in 23 locations. I grew up in the UK and went to Oxford University, went to Brasenose College. I spent a couple of years in London working for an environmental services firm, and I had the chance when I was 23 to go to the States. But it culminated in me ending up to join a hedge fund in New York, actually with somebody that I was at Oxford with. And I was a partner there for 7 years until I decided that what I really wanted to do in life was to set up my own business to consult to non-profit organizations. And that began my journey in the non-profit world. And today I am now CEO of this global association of amazing women in the finance industry. As part of our mission of investing in the next generation of young women coming into the industry, we need to have all sorts of tools and inspiring examples of what you can do in a career in finance. And clearly the next generation of young women who are teenagers right now, technology is a really critical part of their growing up. I wanted to do the course because it was a part of our industry I knew nothing about. You know, I understood the hedge fund world, I understood a little about the mainstream financial world, but I knew very little about what was going on in fintech. And so I wanted to know, who are the players, what are the companies? And as I went through the various modules, what was fascinating was I knew very few of the names of the companies engaged. I needed to be able to say to young women, you know that you could come into the industry and do this or that or the other. And I knew the traditional roles, but actually there's so much going in the fintech space that it was a very valuable way of very quickly learning who the players are and what are the solutions that they're coming up with involving finance and technology that are going to change our world. You know, for me, learning about things like fintech is all part of coming up with creative solutions to solving problems, right? And I think you can learn so much from all sorts of people doing all sorts of different things. So I think it's a learning experience. My advice to young women who are coming into the finance industry and are going to be joining a firm is first, that as you go through that process of determining where you're going to work, that you interview the company and you find out about as much about the culture of that company as you can. My second thing is don't, take risks, take different opportunities as they come up. I've been through 7 different industries in my career. Each one not connected to the next, right? But actually, you can learn, if you're smart, you can learn any industry very quickly. The other thing that I say to young women who are coming to the finance industry is find a way to get out of the country in which you were born. In my experience, it's what I did when I was 23 years old. I left the UK for the US. That move gave me opportunities that I don't believe I would have had if I'd have stayed in the UK. It gave me international experience. And firms are looking for that. That is a skill, having lived and worked in another culture, is a skill that companies are looking for today. And my final piece of advice is find yourself a peer network. Join everything and figure out what are the organizations that are providing the support, the education, the network, the access that you need. At the end of the day, one of the big mistakes that young women make is to believe that hard work is enough. So we all come out of environments at school and university where hard work is enough, where taking a test is the end goal, and women do that really well. The challenge is it doesn't work like that in the workplace. It's not just about hard work. It's actually about building your own personal brand and being out there and networking. And so that would be my final piece of advice. As one of my staff colleagues says, 80% is good enough. And the remaining 20% you can use to focus on yourself and to focus on the networking.